So I think that's sort of the main differences between Christianity and Islam.
And Islam.
So that's
How do you? Because I know from my own like experience with religion.
Yeah.
And from my own perspective and my worldview, I see how Christianity was introduced to, say, West Africa, for instance. And that's part of colonization and things like that.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with how Islam was introduced to your part of Africa?
So there's different time periods when Islam comes to Africa. So there's one period of migration. So the Muslims are like refugees, literally.
Yeah.
This is towards the time of the Prophet was still alive. So but then that doesn't really have and God knows best, but there isn't a significant impact there. You know, Islam doesn't start spreading from the first refugees because a lot of them move to Ethiopia, Lagos, and then move back once they have Medina to go to. There's obviously reports that some Muslims stayed behind, but I don't think it was a significant number that has had an impact on the socio-economical situation in Ethiopia. You know?
How were you introduced to Islam?
I was introduced to Islam. I had loads of Muslim friends,
right?
And growing up in a religious household myself, I was always kind of interested in religion anyway. So it was like, I remember I was 14, so I became Muslim when I was 16 years old. So I remember when I was 14.
Was it here or back? Were you Muslim here or back home?
No, back home.
Back home, right.
So I grew up in Germany.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I grew up in Germany, and over there there's loads of like.
Where do you consider home? Do you consider Congo, Germany, or here?
Look, spiritually and ancestrally, I'm like Congolese in and out.
Yeah, it feels,
the way I dress,
I know that
everything, right?
Yeah.
My attitude towards certain things.
I get that.
But then I have split identities as well. Do you know what I mean? I identify with like Germany as a place.
Some values you pick up from different places. Naturally.
Yeah. But you were asking me about like the introduction of Islam, but there's different time periods. Some of them are portrayed as.
To me. Did you get introduced to Islam?
Yeah, so it was really just a socio situation, being around Muslims. I was like, raw, they're very young, they're very dedicated to their religion. And I was a very staunch Christian at one point. I was like, nah, I'm never gonna sort of leave Christianity. Yeah. That's what my parents grew me up. But then I remember when I was 14, I had this conversation with a Muslim friend of mine, and he was telling me about the prophets. I was like, what the hell? Like, it's very similar to what I believe, isn't it? That's not much differences. And I feel like that maybe perhaps might have been like the first time I saw Islam in a different light, and then slowly, man, I was socializing. I remember I was not fasting, and a very good friend of mine, his mum, she had made food for me to break my fast.
You weren't fasting?
I wasn't fasting. She's like, come join.
That's nice, man. Yeah.
Eat with us.
I think that's another thing as well that's worth noting is part of what I said earlier, where there's this sort of like attempt at point scoring where people just demonize the person you're talking to.
Yeah.
The problem with that is it makes it hard to see things from the other person's perspective. Yeah. You understand?
Yeah.
So when you say that, like I grew up around like one of my best friends were Muslim growing up.
Yeah.
Luckily, which is lucky for me because I didn't. Sorry, excuse me.
No, sorry.
No. Something later. A lot of my friends were Muslim, so I was lucky to experience that kind of, even in an Islamic setting, the kind of love and the empathy and everything. So a lot of people don't get that. And if you go into a conversation with somebody you don't have the same ideas with this idea that you want to trap them or just sort of demonizing them, it makes it hard to relate. So
it's so two things you're saying that I find fascinating. One, a lot of people don't understand like Nigeria is in terms of social relations between like the Occident and the Oriental, right? As in the West being Christianity and then Orient being Islam. It's like in the future. And they've been in the future for such a long time because
the boiling pots,
they know how to deal with each other, grow up with each other. There's like one family, there's half the Muslim, the other one's a Christian, and it's very beautiful.
It's true.
Very beautiful.
You make some good points there. I think about that sometimes. It's in a society where there's so much diversity in ideas and culture and religion. There are some sweet pockets and some knowledge and some gems that you can take from the way Nigerians interact in certain parts, not everywhere. If you go to the north, it's terrible. If you come down south, people are a lot more tolerant. What things can we learn from there? There are definitely moments.
It's true. And you said something. What was the second thing you said? I was like, wow, I need to comment on that.
I was basically just talking about initially just I was talking about the pockets, the nuggets you can get from the diversity you find in Nigeria. But also the fact that people, if you go into these conversations trying to the other guy logically, it just makes it hard to genuinely relate as human beings. Like when I saw you, I'm like, it looks like somebody I can relate. It was you and Brother Hamza. The way you relate with people. It'd be nice to have a word with you, because I don't, in as much as I'm an atheist, I'm not one of this. I don't want to. I have seen a lot of debates because you have to watch these things to educate yourself. But then I don't really like the tone of the conversation, and it makes it hard to talk.
So this is one thing that we sort of said with Salam Corner, which was like we wanted to be sort of an antithesis to what people are used to with Speaker's Corner, and like the debates and scoring points.
I see the chair type of thing. It makes it easier. I like it. I like the format.
Let's
For people that are genuinely curious, you don't necessarily have to agree with you. You can just have a conversation. I like that.
So very interesting. You said so you grew up sort of Catholic, then you've explored other Christian denominations. Now you're an atheist. Interesting.
I wanted to learn about how you. So you said with becoming Muslim, it's different timelines. Was there a defining moment where you said, this is it, I've heard something truthful and divine and I need to submit to this idea?
Bro, you know what, my story is so, it doesn't even make sense, my bro. There's no logic, anything to do. Like, I was a young kid. I was impressed by sort of like the way people treated me. And then at one point I was wearing like the Muslim bead around my neck.
Tasbih, was it?
Tasbih, I was wearing it.
Muslim family, Muslim friends.
I was wearing it. I was walking around Germany, and then I went to this kebab place, and the guy looks at me, and I knew him from before as well, but the way he looked at me this time, full of like awe and he was a kebab guy. He looked at me, he was like, "You Muslim?" And I looked at him, I was like, I don't know if it was something me wanting to belonging. I was like, "Yeah, I am." I was not Muslim. I was like, "Yeah, I am." So, oh, mashallah, beautiful, blah blah blah. So I walk away. I was my Muslim friend. And he says today to me, he says, "Bro, wallahi, you used to say to me, I will never become Muslim." I don't remember saying this, but apparently I did say that. So I walked with him to the park after having a kebab, and then he says to me, "Bro, why don't you become Muslim?" I looked at him, I was like, "What do I have to do?" He says, "Just say this with me." He said it. Bro, fast forward months into it, I'm starting to realize, I'm like, what did I get myself into? I was like, "Wow, this is amazing. It answers all the questions." And being a teenager, you're surrounded by drugs and all this type of stuff, and like religion as a teenager, it's like the least what you're concerned with. But that Islam pulled me in. I was like, dude, I want to know more. My urge to learn really started there.
Do you feel Islam answers some questions for you that Christianity couldn't?
I don't. You know what? I in realization,
you said one statement. I was like, "Oh, you answered some questions," and you were a Christian at the time, so I imagine you had questions that you felt.
You know what? Not even
didn't really answer.
Like, I was a Christian, but not in a strictly sense.
Right,
yeah, you know what I mean? It was just,
which is the case with most. Well, in my opinion, now most religious.
Yeah. So, I had my Holy Communion in a Catholic church, so that was very like vital, and it had like an impact on me. And then 2 years later, I'm just a teenager, and like religion is, I believe in God if you ask me, but I don't have questions. I just live my life. But with Islam, I start to like, it pulled me in. And as today, I was 16 back then, so it's about 15 years old. I say to people nowadays, like, Christianity was vital for me to become Muslim. If there was no Christianity, I do not know if I would have become Muslim. It was just like a building block, because there were so many things already. It was like similar, and then I learned about Islam that you have to go to Christianity with certain things to confirm what came before. So to me it was a continuation more than a graduating.
I got the feeling that submitting to the idea makes you a better person. I completely get that, and that was kind of like one of the things that kept me Christian, kept me religious in general, was the idea that was where I got my sense of morality from. Is what told me what was good and bad, and in a very confusing world, it was like the one thing that made sense in many ways. And then, if I rattle on, I imagine you have questions. Do you have any questions that you want to ask?
Sure.
An atheist, or how I got there?
So,
used to be religious. There's a saying, they say there's no atheists in foxholes. And the idea behind that is when atheists are in trouble, they abandon the idea of atheism and submit to, an idea like a god, or, The funny joke, people in Nigeria, when there's an accident about to happen, people start screaming, Jesus, Jesus! Brother, it's telling me yesterday about some woman. Anyway, not go too off on a tangent, because people might be watching, they might want to get some useful stuff from this. Anyway, I became non-religious when I started to. It was actually when I wanted to know more about God.
Are you recording,
Have you recorded?
Is this recording?
Cool.
Do you want to...
Hold on. Let me put the mics,
Sure.
I
you want a mic from me as well?
Yeah.
Let me clear my nose.
Stage ready, yeah.
What do you believe, mother?
I'm not religious.
Can I speak or... Sorry? Can I speak what?
Atheist. Not really hung up on the labels, but I'll go with... depending on what I'm
Okay, first class, man.
Yeah. What they did was good. They saw me talking, they just came and put the mics on.
Who, them?
Yeah, the other brothers.
No, but I didn't know if you wanted to record it.
But you see, I had to stop the conversation to let you know.
See when you do that?
But sometimes as well, just like the brothers,